Welcome to the Calm Your Nervous System podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Adams, somatic ADHD business coach, and this is a space for you if you're a sensitive, neurodivergent, heart-led business owner who wants success without burning yourself out. Here we blend nervous system regulation with trauma-informed business strategy so you can increase your impact in a way that actually feels safe, sustainable, and aligned. You'll hear practical tools, honest behind-the-scenes conversations, mindset shifts, and a good sprinkle of spiritual woo, all designed to help you put your body first, trust yourself again, and create more ease, energy, and abundance in your life and business. I'm so glad you're here. Let's go calm your nervous system. Welcome back. In this episode, I think it's time we shone some light on the shame that money creates and the unspoken conversations that we need to have around money, and why you need to be earning more if you want to raise the vibration and the consciousness of this planet. One of the most impactful things that us heart-led spiritual women can do is to have more money in our hands, because more money gives us more resource, more choice, more freedom, more power. We can't change anything by getting sick or by getting broke, because we are powerless. That puts us into a survival state in our nervous system. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about what money has to do with our nervous system, and also why so many heart-led wellbeing practitioners, those of you who, you might be a yoga teacher, you might be a therapist, you might be someone that's wanting to help other people, which is incredible. Like, we need more of you in the world. Why so many of us block money? And we say, oh no, I just want enough to get by. I don't want anything fancy. I just want to help people. And this myth of why can we not be wealthy and healthy and spiritual and helping others? Why does it have to be one or the other? So why is this important? And let me give you a fantastic example of a woman who has used her money for good. Taylor Swift. So I'm not a Swiftie. I'm a proud Beehive member. But I can see the power that someone like Taylor Swift has had on her Eras tour the last couple of years. So that tour, I think it went on for 2 years. And if you haven't watched the documentary on Disney Plus, I would recommend it, just to see how a powerful woman like her runs her business, runs her team. For one person to have such an impact on so many people's lives is an incredible gift to have. She increased the US economy by $5.7 billion. $5.7 billion she increased the US economy by when she was on her Eras tour, which is insane, but that's the power that one woman has. She gave out $197 million of bonuses to her staff, to her teams, and I watched the episode where she was actually giving these bonuses away, and you can see how much of an impact that money had on those people's lives. And especially she is impacting and she is proving to people who are creatives, they're dancers, they're musicians, they are people in those positions that might often get told, you're not going to earn money doing this. This might be a fun hobby. This is something you like to do. This isn't going to be something that you get rich from. So you have to choose. You have to go out and get a real job and do this on the side. She is proving you can earn money, good money, doing something you love. And how much joy did not only her tour, all of her dancers, all of the musicians, every single person involved in that entire production, which is huge, how much of a difference it had on all of their lives. And for anyone that went to the tour, and I'm getting FOMO because I kind of wish I did go, but I've watched it on TV now. The production that went into it is incredible. I think in pretty much every city she went to, she donated a shit ton of money to food banks. And she's also done a lot of charity work, given away millions. And this is just a perfect example of what more money in the hands of a conscious person can do. And this myth of more money is going to make you bad, it's going to make you greedy, it's this block that we have about rich people. We need to look at that, and we need to start noticing these words that come out of our mouth, because that is the reality that we are creating. So money is just an amplifier. So if you are someone who is deeply unconscious and doesn't care about the planet, and you are not connected to nature and to other people, and you want money as a status symbol to show off, to increase your ego, what do you think is going to happen when you get more money? That's just going to get bigger. Your ego just gets bigger. And we all know that's not going to lead to anything good. And our nervous systems are wired to look for the negative. So, of course, we're going to see the people that want to go and inhabit Mars and send rockets up into the sky for a hen do or a bachelorette party, or, you know, go and doing these crazy things that aren't really helping anyone. They're just literally having more money than sense. That's the stuff that we see, unfortunately. What we don't see as much, or maybe we're not putting our focus on, are those women like Taylor Swift, like Oprah Winfrey, like Beyonce, all of these incredible women in these high status positions with a lot of money, and the money and what they are doing with that. So if you are someone that is wanting to help more people, maybe offer scholarships, do some charity work in your community, help those, because I'm sure you are doing the role that you are doing now because you've been through your own struggles. You've been through something yourself that you probably wish that you had somebody like you when you were in it, that someone offered you that help, that support that maybe you didn't know existed, or you couldn't afford it at the time, or some other block was there. You are in a position now to help those people. And this is another pet peeve of mine, that the amount of people that I see offering, well, their pricing has no structure, first of all. They'll put their prices in place in their business because of what such and such down the road is doing, instead of actually implementing a proper business strategy. Things like flexible pricing. So, you know, pay what you want between this and this. And yes, that can have its place, but has that been done as a business plan and structure? And if you're neurodivergent and listening to this, please keep listening, because me too. Having these things in place eases the overwhelm, because we know we have that safety, that we know we have X amount coming in each week, each month, instead of having a flexibility. And if you are wanting to give back, if you can be earning more money, you can be putting on cheaper classes, you can be putting on that sliding scale, if you're looking after you first. And this is the same with energy. Money is just energy at the end of the day. If you are not looking after your own energy and how much you have to give, then if you're just giving from your fumes, there's nothing to give. You have to be giving from that overflow. So same with anything in business. If you are blocking money coming in, if you are putting everything on that sliding scale, you're not actually helping anybody. When you're turning up to work and you love the work you do and you're helping people and you're seeing how lives are changed, and then you go home at the end of the day and you're like, shit, I've got a bill coming out tomorrow, or the mortgage is due and I don't know how I'm going to cover it. And I have 100% been in this position plenty of times, and it is not a nice place to be. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can do about this, how to get some neurodivergent friendly structure in, and why this happens as well. But let's talk a little bit about why this is such a struggle for women, especially. And I think it was 1974, in the US at least, when women were first allowed to have any kind of credit without having a male signature on their credit application. And you think that's only a generation ago, that was 50 years ago, that we were not allowed to have access to any kind of credit without a husband, a father, some man in the family to say she's going to be responsible. So when we have access to resources like credit, like being able to have a mortgage, getting a loan, and I think the credit I've had in my life, I've had loans for getting me through a few years when I started my business. I've got a loan for my car and have had cars on loans or hire purchases for years or leases. I have a mortgage. These are access to some of those basic needs. It's a roof over my head. It's the ability to do a job I love and support other people and pay the bills for a year or so. My car is my safe space to cry, to scream, to dance, to sing. It's freedom, it's availability to just jump in the car and go anywhere. It's that freedom of not having to ask my husband, can I borrow your van? I need to go to this place. It's the freedom to just walk outside and go wherever I want, whenever I want. And I mean, I'm 35 tomorrow, as when you listen to this podcast. And that is something that we can take for granted, that maybe our mothers and our grandmothers, they didn't have the same access to resources as we do in 2026. And that is something I am very grateful for, that we have the availability. We need to be able to steward this money. And if we look towards how our mothers, our grandmothers, our ancestors have a relationship with money, and this is why I want to be talking about this stuff, because it doesn't get talked about. And then we can pick up immense amounts of shame, especially if you're neurodivergent. And I think we hear something like 20,000 more negative comments before the age of 12. We're picking up on a lot of these unconscious little digs, little micro aggressions, I guess we could call them, about how money is seen in our families. And because we don't speak about this enough, how much shame comes from when maybe you've forgotten to pay a bill or you've not budgeted for a certain amount. I mean, I am certainly one of those ADHDers with object permanence that if I see money on my account, I'm like, great, I can spend it. My brain just doesn't figure out, well, that £1,000 I have in there needs to pay for, this payment and food for this, and you've got that event coming up, and, you need to have some money to get your nails done, and, all of those things. My brain's just like, oh, there's money there, I can spend it. So I'm still working on a lot of this, and I have systems in place to help stop some of that. But the shame I felt before when I'm like, hey, I've got money and I can spend it, and then shit, how's it just disappeared and I can't pay the bill now? Oh my God. And then the shame spiral that comes from that, I'm working really hard and what's wrong with me and why can't I manage this, and all of that stuff, that comes because we don't talk about this stuff. And if we look back to our ancestors, this has been a way of keeping women powerless, because how often, if you look at maybe our grandparents' generation, the men would go out and do the work and the women would manage the money. They would have the budgets in place, they would balance the books, all of that kind of thing, yet they weren't given the power to earn and to have credit and use that money how they chose. So how many women, unfortunately, were trapped in marriages that they couldn't leave because they weren't able to get a mortgage. They weren't able to have their own money and earn their own money. So they had to just put up and shut up, unfortunately. And that has trickled down. We don't talk about this stuff. And that power over where the patriarchy has had an impact on women's choices, unfortunately spreads in many places. And this is the same as our access to divine practices. So it's Friday the 13th this week. That number has, or that day has been seen as a unlucky day, but actually it was a day that women would celebrate on. It was a day of connecting to the divine. It was, and also we generally have 13 cycles in a year. We have 13 moon cycles as well. But it was when organised religion came in that didn't want anyone, especially women, to be practicing on their own. They had to be in a place of being dictated to and told how to do things and being in that powerless position. And, a few generations of that, women just go into that fawn response of not having choice. But we have choice now. We can choose to fawn. We can choose to drop into those shame cycles and spirals, or we can talk about this. And I've been in a programme with Kate Northrup called Relax Money for 3 years now, for a while. And I've learned a lot from that. And I have friends that have come from Relax Money. And it is so wonderful to be in a community of other women being open about how much debt we have. We've gone on a big trip and then we're like, shit, I've spent too much. And also celebrating, oh my God, I've just had my biggest ever month. I've just had a 20k invoice paid. It's to have that space for us to actually celebrate. And if you look around maybe your friendship group or the other women that you're around, who are those women that you could say, I've just earned 10k, and they go, oh my God, I'm so happy for you, versus the ones that go, oh, well, good for you, lucky you, I wish everyone could have that. Do you want those women in your life? Because I love being around the women that we can share the, oh shit, I think I've overspent, or I'm in a shame spiral right now, help. They're the same women that I go to when I say, oh my God, I've just earned this. I've just bought my dream car and I don't get the fear. Their conditioning isn't thrown at me because there is a new movement of conscious women changing things, changing our realities, changing what we're doing on the planet, who we're able to help, changing our relationship with money. And if there's a time to do this, it is now. So I'm recording this in early February. The year of the fire horse starts on my birthday, on the 17th. So if this comes out on time, that will be tomorrow. And it's not just because this is my birthday, but the 17th of February this year is going to be a pretty huge day if we're looking at what's going on collectively in the planets. We've got a annular solar eclipse on the 17th. The year of the fire horse, which is the Chinese New Year, starts. We have a new moon in Aquarius. I think Ramadan starts on the 17th as well. There's all of these big shifts going on, and I'm not going to pretend to be an astrologer, just an avid fan, but I have been feeling this shift. And I don't know for anyone else who is highly sensitive, if you've been feeling a collective shift towards something. And I was talking to my PT about something in the body the other day, and we were saying that the same effort of movement we need to get in the body. It's like if you've got a cat, when they get like really big-eyed and they're ready to pounce, and they like start wiggling and you can see this pent up energy and they're about to go. That's the energy that I feel that we're in at the moment. We're in the cat wiggly bum phase where that all of that energy has been pent up, and we're ready to just bang, we're ready to fucking go. And we also need to meet that energy, because stuff's not going to happen unless we put some action into place as well. So I have been planning what's going on in my business and my life around, as much as I can, around what's going on in this cycle at the moment. We've also had Saturn, or will have Saturn, go into Aries on the 13th. So by the time you're listening to this, it will have already gone into Aries. And it feels like this mid-February time is this chance for us to step into leadership, to actually start creating something new. And again, it kind of feels like it's this amplifier of what's going on. And if you look at what's going on collectively in the world, you know, shit's going down. Like, it's not pretty. And I think Neptune did something recently. The last time this happened, it was the American Civil War and the abolition of slavery. So there's some big changes with what's going on, and also what's right and what's wrong. So collectively, we can keep fighting, we can keep arguing, but that's not getting us anywhere. So, and this is a really beautiful time, especially with that cat wiggly bum energy, the fire horse energy, to collapse what currently is and use our intuition to build something new. So instead of wasting your energy on fighting things, this is our chance to quietly be building the world, the new earth that we want to actually see, to be the change. And this is something I am so passionate about with the next generation of girls and women. And what are they seeing? What are they being brought up into? Are they seeing their mothers, their aunties, their grandmothers saying there's no jobs available, work's going to be really difficult, there's not enough money, you can't have this, don't dream too big? Or are they coming into a world seeing us, conscious women, doing things that are helping other people, that are raising the consciousness, that are empowering other women and earning good money and enjoying life, and not trying to be Superwoman, but having a balance in our life? We are resourced, healthy women who look after ourselves, and we're doing good in the world. We're not another generation of martyrs. It doesn't get us anywhere. Are they able to see that and say, well, if she can do it, so can I? Or are we just passing down the same old shit that we've been given from our parents, our grandparents? This is our opportunity to throw fire on that intuitive action, or we can throw fire on the noise and the chaos and the destruction and just get more and more embedded into that. And I feel like 2026 is going to be a big year. I think it's going to be an unexpected year. I think it's the time when there's all the shadows are starting to come out. We're going to have to be healing the stuff that we have been pushing down. And this is exactly why I'm talking about money and shame and what this is bringing up. And how many of us have those stories of, I can't charge anymore because people won't pay it, or I'm not worthy of this, or whatever bullshit we are putting into our heads. And I have been there as well. I'm too scared to do this. What if people judge me? What if they say, who are you to be asking for that much? And making it okay that we value ourselves. We are not the work we do. So we shouldn't be getting our value wrapped up in, I am a such and such. But being able to shift how we are looking at money, receiving as well, and valuing ourselves. Because for one, I have a team in my business. I'm very hot on working from integrity. And if you're highly sensitive, the amount of yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, therapists, counsellors, wellbeing practitioners that I have gone to, and I can feel their energy. And if we have masked for our entire lives and been fed a lie when someone says they're fine, but actually you can feel that they're really pissed off or they're really upset. I don't know about you, I'm done with that bullshit. I'm done with listening to people lying to my face. I can feel your energy. If you're telling me that you're okay and you're not, I know you're not okay. And if we are wanting to be better practitioners, we need to be showing up with integrity, being honest. And we don't need to put everything out there and tell our clients everything that's going on, but we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to say, I'm having a bit of a rough week. We don't have to be on all the time. We are cyclical beings. We're different day by day, week by week. And if you're in a position of power, if people look up to you, they are going to learn from your behaviour. And if you are a yoga teacher that can't find time to do your own practice, how the hell are your clients going to find time to practice? You do this because you love this so much. You have given up so much in your life to go and train, to, completely nerd out on this practice that you love, and you can see the impact it's probably had on your life, but you can't find 10 minutes to do it yourself. Why the fuck should your clients? And I have this with my team: look after yourself. And I talk to so many wellbeing practitioners because I look after myself as best I can. Of course I have my wobbles. I have my days where I will sit and watch crap on the TV and eat crisps and doom scroll on Instagram. Of course, I'm human. But at least once a month, if not weekly, I am going to something to move my body. That's a few times a week. I'm having a massage or Reiki or some kind of chill out time for myself to top myself up, to increase my energy. I've been going to some women's circles recently, which have just been lovely to go and be in that space with other women. We'll pull some cards. We will see where the moon is at the time. I've got one on my birthday, actually. We'll look at what's going on with the planets, and just having that check-in time to see, well, how am I right now? So your clients need you to be authentic. And if you are petrified about how you're going to pay the bills, yet you're trying to come across as calm, they can feel that, especially if you're working with neurodivergent clients. They'll see through that. So what kind of messaging are you wanting to put out there into the world, not only for your clients, but for your kids, your nieces and your nephews, those that look up to you? We have this beautiful opportunity right now to be acting intuitively and looking at how do we want to go forward? Who do we want to be? And I think this year is going to be a time where all of the fakeness is going to start to get cracked open and brought into the light. So you can do that consciously. You can choose to do some shadow work, or it's going to come out, it's going to leak out somehow. So we need to be the change. We need to come together and also respect that nobody else can do what you do the way that you do this. So even if there are other studios in your area or other people doing the same thing that you're doing, and one thing one of my mentors told me a couple of years ago was, go and unfollow people that are in your space on Instagram, because if you, or wherever you go on socials, if you're bombarded by other people doing the same thing, you're either going to want to copy them, or you're just going to be comparing yourself to them. And you don't need to unfollow them, you can mute them. But do you need any of that? Do you need that energy? Or do you just want to be following the people that inspire you and show you what you're capable of doing instead of you comparing yourself to them? So now's your chance. And if you're listening to this way out into the future, the best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is today. So look at your shadows, look at who you want to be in the world, and going back to money, how did some of this come about, some of this conditioning? I'm going to share a couple of ways that we can bring some structure to how we use money, how we see money. And this isn't a bollocking of you need to do more. This might help you understand why you might be the way you are. So if you think, you might know about attachment theory. So there are a few different types of attachment, and this is how we bonded with our primary caregiver as children. We've got a secure attachment style, which is ideal. There is an anxious attachment style. There's avoidant, and then there's, I think, ambivalent, which is a bit of anxious avoidant crossover. The main two I'm going to talk about is anxious and avoidant, because these are the biggest ones that come up when it comes to how we interact with our money. And this will have an effect on how we saw our parents interact with money when we were children. And generally, if we have an anxious attachment style with our caregiver, with relationships, we can have the same with money. Not always, might be the other way around, but it is a good thing to be aware of, because this is two things I see with my clients a lot, and just women in business in general, is there's often an anxious attachment style, and what that looks like is women who are overworking because they are petrified that that money is going to go away. Even if you've got years of evidence behind you that you've paid the bills every month, that you have had enough to eat, that you are running a successful business, that people want the work you're doing, when our nervous system is in that anxious place, you're going to keep working. You're going to be one of those people that can't take a day off, because you're looking at your day off in terms of, that's £200 lost, that's £500 lost if I take a day off, instead of seeing this in, actually, that's a day of rest. And maybe when you have your business structured in a healthier way, you have that built in, that you're not seeing every hour of your day in monetary terms, because you're not a robot. You are not designed to just be on constantly. We need time off. And also, if you're running your own business, why? If you want to just earn a same old salary every month, go get a 9 to 5. If you're doing something you love, you need the time off to maybe do some more studying, to refresh your batteries, to top yourself up, to have a rest. That is needed. That is part of the work you're doing. Nobody wants to learn how to recover from burnout from someone who is currently burnt out. The other things that come up with the anxious attachment style as well is that feeling of not having enough. So very much that scarcity mindset, and you might be someone that will count every single penny that you spend. Everything goes into a spreadsheet. Everything is looked at under a microscope and budgeted. There's no wiggle room in there at all for any flexibility. Even if, a friend calls you up and says, actually, I need, can we go away for the weekend? I really need a break. Can you come with me? Nope, not in the budget. Can't do it. Even though if you opened your bank account, you're like, yeah, I could, but it needs to be in that category. There's a need for control, and control is a trauma response. So yes, budgeting, or a spending plan, as I like to call it, is needed. But there's your anxious attachment style. If none of those are ringing true, let's look at the avoidant attachment style. And I'm probably more of an avoidant. This is not looking at your money. This can be not having any kind of structure in place, just seeing, oh, yeah, there's money in there, but I'm not really going to look at it, or I'm just going to assume I'm just going to keep spending until my card gets declined, because you're just avoiding looking at it. It's quite often a shameful place of, I don't want to see how much debt I'm in. I don't want to see the state of my finances because it's scary. It can look like undercharging as well. That can be in both anxious and avoidant. It can be someone offering to pay for you for something. No, I'll get this. No, I'm fine. And the biggest one I see is that spiritual ego saying, I don't care about money. But unless you're going to go and live in a commune, we need money. I mean, you're listening to this on, I assume, a phone that I assume you pay a monthly contract on, or you're watching this on a computer, which again, you've paid for. We need money to survive in this world. How do you pay for your food shop? How do you reach your clients? Like, we need money to survive in this world. And yet, of course, if we completely changed how everything was run in the world, maybe we wouldn't live in such a capitalistic, money-obsessed planet and world. But we need money to survive. And we don't need to just stay in survival mode. We can use the structure that's already there to work for good. So what can you do to have a more conscious relationship with your money? If you are someone who is quite avoidant, having something like a money date. And this is something I've promised to do for myself this month. And I have done these on Zoom for a couple of years, but I'm going to take myself to a nice cafe locally. I'm going to take my laptop and I'm going to sit down and just go through some of my numbers and look at, especially for 2025, what's gone well, what hasn't, where my main incomes come from, what I'm spending, like just having a bit more of an eye on what I'm doing. My accountant has been messaging me for months to say, you need to set up the bank feed to go into zero. I need to set that up. It's just having some of these, okay, I'm going to be intentional, because if you are someone who is wanting a bigger impact, wanting more money, if you can't manage £100, how are you going to manage £100,000? If you say, okay, I'm going to get more conscious with my relationship with money, once I have more of it, more is not going to come until you start to change how you are now and increase your nervous system capacity, because this is another thing I see. If your nervous system does not feel safe to receive and actually hold more, you're just going to keep, if you get more come to you, you're going to spend it. It's going to disappear. And this is where things like lifestyle creep come in. Okay, I've just got this new job. I've just signed this new client. And then that means I can go and buy this, and I can buy this, and I can buy this. Oh shit, I've got no money left, because you've not felt safe to actually hold it. So having some structure in place, and that can look like a spreadsheet. That can look like one of these apps where you have tabs in there of, categories of what you're spending on. Even if you just sit down with yourself once a month for half an hour and say, I'm going to consciously look at what's going on. And the more you do this in a safe way, so I would always recommend doing some regulation, making this a bit of novelty, making this exciting, because I've been stuck in, or had in the past, in this nervous system pattern of I will wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until shit's hit the fan and I have to look at my money. And then I look at it in a very dysregulated state. And then I just spiral even more, because then I'm like, I've waited to the absolute last minute and I don't know what I'm going to do now. So that experience does not feel nice. And that's at the point where I've then had to go, okay, I need to do something drastic, or, you know, it's taken a lot of cognitive effort to borrow this from here and move that around from there, and what dates are doing what. And it's a very it's a very cognitive heavy task to do. And then you throw some shame into that. Ugh, no, does not feel good. So of course, next time you're like, I'm going to go do a money date and I'm going to look at my money, your nervous system remembers that and goes, oh, no. Do you remember how bad you felt last time? Just avoid it, just avoid it. And then you avoid it, and the same old thing happens. You only look at it when you absolutely have to. So we can choose to look at it before we're forced to, and start to build up a happier and more positive relationship where we are actively, consciously choosing to interact with our money and what we're doing with it. That whatever we have, we are managing that in a efficient and conscious way. And often when we will sit and go through this, you'll see the app that you subscribed to 2 months ago that's still coming out of your bank account and think, oh yeah, whoops, I forgot to cancel that. Or, you know, you see these little money leaks, and that's a really good time to go, nope, I don't need that. And then you get more money back in your account. So, you know, it's a great thing to do. So having some structure in place and consciously choosing how you're interacting with your money. And if you are spending in alignment with your values, and this is one of the practices that I do in the work I'm doing with my clients, is we will go deep into what our values are and then look at how you're spending money. Is it in alignment with your values? And if so, why not? And bringing a bit more structure to what you're doing, how you're spending money, looking at your nervous system set point as well, and just feeling okay, feeling safe to look at money, to ask for more money, and knowing that you cannot get sick, you cannot get broke enough to make any change in the world. So if you are somebody who is wanting to change your impact, start looking at this. And this is the kind of work that I do with my clients, is helping you to structure your business so you are in a position that not only can you cover your bills and your expenses, but you can actually set your life up to enjoy your life. It's having enough for the holidays you want to do. It's having the overflow to, you know, buy the odd pair of fancy shoes if you want them, to have the nice meals out, you know, whatever it is that is a value of yours, setting your life up so your business can cover and afford and pay for that lifestyle. And I can promise you, your clients will look at that, the right clients anyway, and feel lit up and inspired and want to work with you, as opposed to the person that is putting it out there and saying, oh, I've just lost a client and I don't know what I'm going to do now, and I'm really scared, and is there anyone that wants to work with me because I've just lost a client, and making it all about them and their fear. Like that is like, if you're single or if you've ever been dating, that's the person going out there saying, I really want to get married and have babies, and who wants to have them with me? I'm really desperate. I mean, no one wants to go there, do they? That might be something you want, but that energy, no. that is giving everyone the ick. So be the person that is confident and grounded in what you're doing, who you're helping, having the money to live the life that you want. It is possible, and you don't need to burn out doing it either. And one more thing that I've just noticed on my notes as well, that when we are more sensitive, when we are more intuitive, I mean, I don't watch the news because, it just dysregulates me, and it's just very, very negative and fear-mongering. So I don't watch the news. I feel what's going on collectively, and then I might go and interact with certain things. I feel like my energy is best spent supporting people with the ripple effect that I can have as one person and all of the lives that I can touch by being a regulated person, not another voice in the anger. But anyway, I feel what goes on collectively, and I invest based on what is going on collectively. So I have, and this is another thing, get educated, girls, because we don't get taught this in school. The bros are all set up in their, with their next shiny suits on, because they don't want us to understand finances, because it keeps us small and dependable and powerless. Go and learn about investing and get financially literate. So I invest, and last year, 2025, I think I made a 46% increase on my investments because I invested when I got the nudge. It made absolutely no logical sense. I put money in when I got the nudge. I took money out when I got the nudge. And the stocks have dropped recently, the last couple of months. I took my money out before that crash came. So hence why I managed to get a 47% increase. And this is not financial advice. This was me investing in different crypto, which some people will say is an investment, some people will say is gambling. But there is so many options out there for us of where we put our money, that even if you have a pension, you can control where you're putting the money that's in your pension, or you can hand it over to somebody else who essentially gets to choose. And that your money might be getting put into oil and gas, might be getting put into defence, weapons, animal testing, big pharma. These are the things that, for me at least, I'm like, no, that has been funded enough. You're not having any of my money. My pension money I control, and that goes into companies that I already use. So I'm like, I'm going to own a little bit of that. So I've earned quite a lot from Tesla because I've been investing in them for years, despite the person who runs it. Another matter there. And things like solar, more green energy projects, things that align more with me. And it's just nice to have the choice. And this doesn't mean you need to go and start learning all about crypto and investing in the stock market and all of these things. I'm saying this because we don't get taught this stuff. Go and ask the stupid questions. We have ChatGPT these days. We have AI. This is a great place to just go and ask those questions. Where do I start? What does this mean? I don't understand. What's a fund? What's a bond? What's the difference? What's a stock? What's a share? All of that stuff. Go and find out about this stuff. I'm sure there's some fantastic podcasts out there on it as well. So not knowing is not an excuse anymore. If we want to change the consciousness of the planet and get more money in conscious women's hands, we need to start waking up to some of this stuff. And you don't need to do all this overnight, but hopefully this might have planted a seed that we don't start from nowhere. We learn from our parents how we should be interacting with money. The stories, the messages, money doesn't grow on trees, or you need to work really hard to have things. All of that is so ingrained in us, but we don't need to live by that anymore. So I'm hoping this has been helpful. Hopefully this has broken some of the taboo and shame around money. Come drop me a message on Instagram at Jenny Adams Coach if any of this has resonated with you. And if this is something you want to learn a little bit more about, how to put a bit more structure into your business and actually set up so you have more time, you have more money, you have more freedom, then keep an eye out on my socials, because something is coming very soon. And Rewire to Receive is also open as well, which is a 30-day practice to transform your relationship with money, ease and desire. So if you are wanting to actually change your nervous system so you feel safe to receive more. And the clients who are in there already are seeing new clients arriving after one day. They're being offered their dream business spaces to expand into. They are finding money on literally in front of them. One of them dug up £10 when she was gardening. Like, who buries £10? But it's all of these things that are coming to clients. It's the random money wins, and it's feeling safe to receive those, that when you do receive a new client, you find money in front of you, you get the random gifts. It's not just then passing that off as, oh, well, that just happened, that was just a coincidence. It's saying, thank you, universe. I can see you're trying to help me. You're putting money in my path. Thank you. I'd like some more of that, please. So come join Rewire to Receive if you want. It's 3 practices. You repeat them. So you don't need 30 days of like catching up on videos every single day. There's 3. You repeat them. Do 1 a day if you can. Do 2. That would be great. 1 is a sleep meditation. So you put it on before you go to bed. 1 of them is a walking meditation. So if you go out for a dog walk every day, for example, put it on then. And then the other one is great to do in the morning. If you can do 1 a day, fantastic. You're going to start to see changes. They are designed to rewire your nervous system, especially if you're neurodivergent, to be more open to receive more. It's £97. You can join anytime. If you DM me on Instagram the word 30, then you'll get the details sent through to you, or hop over to my website or have a look in the show notes. But yeah, come get educated. Open yourself up to receive more magic, because it is certainly happening. And I mean, my friends will laugh at me for the things that come to me. I think in the last few weeks I've received a £4,000 gift. Last night we went out for dinner. It was free. These things just happen, and they're not a coincidence. They're because of the work I have done with my nervous system. So it's £97. If you want a little taster of that, then come join me. But let me know how you found this episode. If there's anything that hit home for you, come drop me a message and I will speak to you in the next one. Thanks for listening. Bye. Thank you so much for being here and listening to this episode. If something landed for you, I'd massively appreciate you leaving a 5-star review or share this episode with someone who would really benefit from it. Your support helps this podcast reach more sensitive neurodivergent business owners who are ready to do things differently and increase your impact, with more regulation, more ease, and less burnout. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.